the existence of God. Um, they're inexplicable uh, phenomena, like, let's say, um, the regulate. These are not proofs. They're just evidences, or the most likely explanation is, um, they're like, say, uh, the regulation of the universe, the the movements of the sun. So one can give an explanation of the movements of the sun. We can say laws. The Vedas give us the explanation of Kala Chakra, or the wheel of time. The wheel of time. Time is moving the sun, and time is measured according to Vedas by the passing of the sun over atoms. It's right in the Bhagavatam. So, you can't see, but you can see the effect of time. I am the destroyer of things. So all things that come into being are destroyed. And what's that force that destroys them? It's time, and time is an energy of Krishna. So somebody may say, oh, Phui. He'll come up with another explanation of what destroys things. Everything that's created is destroyed after some time. What is that force? So by inference, it's not proof, but the effect of time is found in things being destroyed, and the on the authority of the Vedas, we can understand the existence of time as an instrument or an element or an agent of God. That's how we understand God's presence, by the effect of his presence. I mean, there's a second answer is, you can't prove God. There's not a proof. Because the proof means something that's experimental, a hypothesis, experiment, observations, and conclusions. So we can say there's the scientific experiment of bhakti. Here's what it is, and you can prove to yourself that God exists by following bhakti. And it doesn't require that you have to have a blind faith in something. You just do the experiment. Oh, come on. So the proof is the experience. The proof of George Harrison's phrase, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. That's how he writes about it in Krishna book, preface. So the proof is the experience itself. But experience is subjective. But observation is also subjective. So, the power of feeling the wind depends on your sense perception. Supposing the sense perception becomes withdrawn. The wind is blowing, but you can't feel it because your sense perception. So there's fallibility in anything material. So how do you you can't prove the existence of God, but you can experience the existence of God, the presence of God, or the effects of God's presence in different ways. Now, if you're dealing with persons, in your peers at school, that are looking for a rational verification, you don't need to go down that path because there isn't one. Then okay, then you're acknowledging you're in this irrational zone. No, it's not irrational. It's faith. Oh, okay. Faith is irrational. Really? What do you what when you have faith that when you walk across the floor you're not going to fall into the basement. Otherwise, how do you function? With life has the element of faith in it at every moment. Breathing air, drinking water. So faith, what's faith resting upon? It's experience. But our experiencing faculties, the senses and the mind of interpreting data, they're both fallible. So you have faith in something that's fallible. Congratulations. And we have faith in something that's infallible. Oh, really? What's infallible? Well, God's unfallible. Oh, really? Yes, that's my faith. You're fallible, and I'm fallible, but God's not fallible. That's where I place my faith. And you have faith in your senses, in your mind, and they're fallible. Go ahead. I mean, that's an option. They're not going to be happy with you. They're not going to move from that faith in their mind and their senses. But at least from your side, you should be clear why we place faith in the infallible. So back to the question, you're not going to find a way to prove to a logician that God exists, because it's something that has to be experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get that experience? By extending yourself through that experiment. That which is coming from the source, you offer again to the source from which it comes. And then you experience something, a connection. That's yoga. And anybody that does yoga has that experience. There's hatha yoga that lots of people know about, and you feel something when you do hatha yoga. But if you do bhakti yoga, you feel something higher than, the bodily feel good. And that's the proof, the experience. Just like my dear friend, when you have a meal and you come to a certain point where you really can't eat anymore, or you'd be uncomfortable if you tried to eat some more. You probably get sick if you had indigestion because you eat too much. So someone doesn't have to tell you you're full, you've eaten enough. You can tell them because your experience, you're full. So similarly, the proof is that experience of fullness. It's right in Bhagavad Gita. You don't have to believe it. That's okay. You've got some other value system going. That's okay. But from Bhagavad Gita, my understanding is my faith goes to that position where there's fullness within. And it's attainable. And there's a procedure to get there. And that's where my faith goes. And you have your faith in your mind and your senses. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.